We all have a mindset when we look about on society, on business, on the world. Question is, does the mindset correspond to the data set? Are we upgraded? Or is our mindset based on past experience and past situation? That's what I'm going to talk about today. And here we are. I have bubbles here which represent the countries of the world. The size of the bubble is the population. And this axis I show income per person. And on this axis I show length of life. And this is from 1809. Yeah, you can see the year there. No? And it's interesting to see that at that year in world history, United Kingdom was there at the top of the countries with an amazing life expectancy of 41 years and an income per person of $2,000 in present value of the dollar. So what has happened in the world? I will first here, you know, try to show you. You can zoom in here. And I will show you what has happened in the world by just moving it on like this. And we go through the Industrial Revolution quite fast. You can see it's Netherlands. They're trying to bypass England there, you know, and they are actually doing it. Now, it's not so nice because the wealth was built on slave-produced sugar in the Caribbean. That was why these countries were so successful at that time, you know. It goes into 1830. That's Sweden jumping up and down between the famine years, you know. And Norway is actually ahead of Sweden there. Those were annoying periods there. And then we are getting up and we are getting into a more overview situation about the world like this. And the Industrial Revolution are taking the green countries, the brown ones is East Europe. This is United States of America. Those are Australia and New Zealand, you know, which are actually now getting richer. Can you see Australia's richest in the world there, 76. And the Industrial Revolution is taking West Europe, North America and its offspring in Australia and New Zealand, where the rest of the world remains in the same place. This is best available data from statistics and from historians. And it took actually 100 years and nothing happened down here. The bigger bubble there is China. This blue one is India down there. And it would take the First World War is just about to come here. And you can see that was the fall of the First World War, you know. And in the interwar period was not the period of globalization. There was not so much change from 1918 up to 1930. And we are just about up for the Third World. And we had this dichotomized world where we had the West up there and the rest down there. And we will see soon coming the rise of the rest. If just independence came along, and you can see Mao Zedong moving the red China. Oh, that was the big leap. The big leap forward, which became a leap backwards for China. But after that, the Politburo in Beijing, they corrected this. And Mao Zedong is just about to die. He passes away. There he goes. And now Deng Xiaoping is taking over China. And you can see they move against higher incomes. And the whole world is emerging like this. And it's following. And there's almost no country down here at the miserable level where United Kingdom was 1809. We have a completely new world situation. And we have what Thomas Friedman called almost a flat world. So this is the change. And the nice thing here is that we enable you to see this entire development very nice and smoothly. It's much easier than to read history books, isn't it? To just look like that. So what can we do more with this? Well, we can look at the economic development of the world. If I go into this one here, which was just destroyed for me. So, boo. And there, and setting, slideshow mode, don't panic, show buttons, number 2 in the end, here we are, and we can take away the text comment there, setting, hide text comment. The world in 2015 and going back to 1970. Income per person, $110, $100 per person, based on income surveys. And we had a hump 1970, mainly here of OECD countries and East Europe, the Soviet bloc. And here was East Asia, South Asia, Africa, Latin America, like a green anaconda, where you had all the income levels in the world there in the middle. And what has happened is this, because the global trend is a trend of catching up. catching up. We've had first hundreds of millions and then billions coming out of poverty. Now, actually, I shouldn't do this because this is a projection from the World Bank. I have to stop at the door of Lehman Brothers, somewhere here, you know. And what is happening in the world now is not this. But what is happening in the world is going backwards some years and then continuing onwards, whether in a V, a U, or a W. We don't know. Now, so keep everything in perspective and try to understand what is the main global trend. Well, when you look at it from above, as I can do in public statistics, the main global trend is convergence. The differences that characterize the world still exist. Actually, the disparity between the worst of countries and the best of countries is bigger than ever. But the bulk of human beings in the middle are moving on. The emerging economy are the ones that have been taking care of economic growth for the last 10 years, and as we just heard, will do so for the coming decades, or half century, actually. And in saying this, I have to put in a but. But this convergence doesn't mean that everything is fine, just this crisis is over. It's not sustainable. It's based on fossil fuels. And even if there is a little slim chance that it won't be as bad as some say, there's a very high risk going on emitting carbon dioxide. It does not involve the last 2 billion of human beings. The misery among the poorest 1 to 2 billion is the same as it always has been. Some students say that the poorer are getting poorer. It's a lie. It's impossible. If the poorest get poorer, they die. Because people are still living on the verge of famine in the midst of affluence. This is the difficult thing to understand, that the majority of world population is getting it better, the worst off are still having it bad. And those who used to be best off are now lending money from those who are in the middle. Middle class of the world are lending money for the bailouts for the upper class of the world, whereas the lowest class of the world still have it bad down there. And there will no longer be one superpower. It will be more complex. It will not be G7, G8, G20. In the future, I almost said it will be G, but that can be misunderstood when it's a Google event. So let's say that there will be a new world. So we have to look into carbon dioxide, MDG, Millennium Development Goal, what happens to the last billion of people. We have to look in where is the money. Let me do that for you. And I will do so by going into my next chart here, which shows the carbon dioxide emission in tons per person, and here income per person on this axis. The size of the bubbles is the amount of carbon dioxide emitted. And I start 100 years ago when the main emitters was United States and United Kingdom. And this is what I say, oh, China, can you see little China down there? Almost not emitting anything. In the former graphs, the size of bubble was population. Here it is emission of this. And what we have seen happening in the world is the following. Please don't blame China. Politically, it may be tentative to say, oh, China has to stop emitting carbon dioxide, but intellectually it's very stupid. Because they emit 4 tons per capita, and United States 20. And even the amount they are emitting today in China is less than United Kingdom and United States did at the same economic level. So they are not worse. And as the Minister of Environment of India said at the Davos meeting, it is you, the OECD countries, who destroyed the climate, you and only you. But we forgive you. We forgive you completely because we didn't know, you didn't know what you were doing. But from now on, please, we count per capita. This is the converging world. There is no other way of counting than per capita in the world in front of us. And we should have this pragmatic view of solving world problems. But it has to be based on per capita measurements. So much for carbon dioxide. United States can't be up there. Have to stop it. You can't put out $300 billion in agricultural subsidies and $3 billion for green technology. Doesn't make sense to invest 100 times as much in grandfather's farm as you do in the grandchildren's future. It's just ridiculous. And intellectually, this doesn't work in the emerging intelligentsia in China and India. They know how to count. In fact, they are better than us in West Europe. Go and read an OECD study. You can't come to and argue with China and India with mindsets any longer, because they have data sets and they use it. Let me go on and look at the MDGs. What is happening with the poorest people in the world? And I will look at children. Child mortality. 3 children dying per 1,000, 30 or 300. We have a 100-fold difference in the chance of surviving for children in the world. And once more, dollar per capita. These dollars are purchasing power dollar adjusted for inflation. And we had a world in 1959 with developing countries in blue and industrialized countries here, and this is what happened. What happened in the world was this. You see, the economy is growing, child mortality is coming down, coming down. The big bubble there is China, size is number of birth. The next big bubble is India, and they are going into the circle for industrialized countries, and if you turn around the computer, you can see where they are made. They are the industrialized countries of the world today, because they are producing the goods. And it's quite interesting how we measure. How fast did this happen? We are measuring MDG 4, the lowering of child mortality, which used to be said 2/3 in 25. Now, we do like the economy, percent change per year. It's a real good advance. Can you grow your economy with 4 or 5%? Can you lower your child mortality with 4 or 5%? The speed is almost the same if country is well organized. And let me take my own country, Sweden, backwards, 100 years in history. And it will land up there, you see, it will land. 1900, Sweden had the same child mortality as Bangladesh had 16 years ago, 1990. And that's the starting year for measuring the MDG. Now, which one was faster? Bangladesh was obviously 90 years behind Sweden. Are they catching up? Are they not catching up? Ready, steady, go. Here we go, the chicken race. Bangladesh is vaccinating its kids, providing primary health care. Sweden is trying there, but not managing, and Bangladesh wins, 4.7%, faster than Millennium Development Goal rates. Second chance for Sweden against Egypt. 1916 Sweden, same as Egypt 1990. Here we go. Safe water in the Nile Delta, primary health care, malaria eradicated, and a miracle in Egypt. They lower with 5.5%, 1.5 times Millennium Development Goals. At this point, my students start to protest. And this is not fair, they said, because for those countries, vaccines and antibiotics existed, and Sweden it did not. Yeah, but still they use it. Look at Brazil. Brazil is going very, very fast, compensating for great inequity in the past, providing primary health care, and an amazing reduction of 6.3% over the last 16 years. Catch-up is taking place. We have a convergence in the world. And the students just don't want to listen. It's not fair, so I give them real-time competition. Sweden at the year of my birth, 1948. And Singapore, a marshland on the equator, the most tropical of all tropical countries. So if climate is a problem, they won't make it. And they were under British colonial rule. But still, you know, after that terrible war, they managed to get malaria down and they got independence. They started to grow their economy and they invested in social goods also, and they had health care. And we never thought this would happen, that they would catch up with us and they would eventually win over Sweden. But we have a saying, isn't it, in Sweden and Norway, we say when we go to the Olympics, the most important is not to win, it's to beat Norway, you know. So I think it's the same in Norway, you know. So much. So what we are seeing, what we are seeing is actually that these green countries are making it, Millennium Development Goals. They are improving social life chances for kids more than 4 or 5% per year. The yellow ones are almost making it. It's the red one which is the problem. It's the last billion. Don't think developing countries are a problem. Don't think that developing. Take that away from your head and think low-income countries or the worst off in middle-income countries. That's where we have the problem. Now, but there are inspiring things. Look at Tanzania. Child mortality in Tanzania, last 6 years, a reduction with 10%. Very good study analysis in the Lancet last year. And why is it so? Tanzania have had 7% economic growth over the last few years. And they have allocated it, doubled their health budget, immunization provided by rational long-term international aid, and bed nets, a new invention, actually British-African research collaboration proving the efficiency of that is being provided. Things can go fast. Africa can do it as fast as Asia have done it. And what I now would like to go back is to look at the money, actually. So where should I look at the money? I have it here. Yeah? What I'm doing when I'm lecturing, I'm using 2 fingers. Did you note that? Most lecturers just use 1 finger. No? They use it like that. But we do innovation, great innovation. Here we have. As we have this environmental friendly Zeitgeist, we have a new innovation here. The first in the world, the organic laser pointer. Yeah, it's biodegradable, you know, and I think we're going to market this at Gapminder Foundation, where I have the net trade in the world on this axis. If you're on 0 here, you sell as much as you buy, which most countries do. The bubble size is population here. If you are low, where United States was 89, you buy more than you sell. If you are above, as Japan and Germany was there, you sell more than you buy. And most countries has to be even, more or less, otherwise there will be a misery, you know. And what has happened in the world? It's very interesting, because these are times when even public health professors can understand economics. I would like you to keep a sharp eye on United States and China and what is happening with trade over the last years. I've hit button, can you see? They're bumping that at the bottom. But it may be a W, you know, we don't know. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be an MBA or anything to see that China has the money, you know, and they have the debt. The indebted country is the new category name for what used to be called the Western world, isn't it? Yeah? It's the money that are borrowing now. And what we can see here is that I can also try to show you the whole crisis. I have here a data set where I show child mortality here, just as in the MDG. That is and here GDP per capita. This is International Monetary Fund's time series, which has their latest projections into the crisis and through the crisis. They do what most avoid to do, politicians, guess what will happen. Huh? And you can see it's what I showed you before. The interesting thing is that when I go from 79 and onwards here, that was the Asian crisis. You saw that little, and the East Europe. And now be very careful. Can you see the crisis? It will come soon. It will come soon. Did you see it? You missed it. Oh, it's a very big crisis. They talk a lot about it. There, can you see? They go back. You know, I'm not impressed. I'm professor of global health. This is the crisis. We have 10 million children dying every year in preventable, incurable conditions. That is the crisis. The other one we used to call at my department is the hiccup, we call it. You know, it's very little. But this tool, Trendalizer software, which Google acquired some years ago, you know, enables you to enlarge the picture a little. No, I'll do it more carefully here, because you want to see the crisis, isn't it? Huh? I can assure, I think many people are very interested in the crisis. And let me show United Kingdom here. United Kingdom, here we are. That is 1914. We go back. Here we come, here we come. Let's put trails on. There's a trail, tick in trails there. And we go down, we go down. Here they hit Northern Rock, and you see what happens? It's not that impressive, but of course it means that the GDP per capita of 2008 will not come back until 2014. And that's bad. I mean, that's 5 years lost, more or less. But when you go up and look at the global overview, it's very little. So what's the take-home message? Don't lose perspective during this crisis. This crisis cannot be solved by short-term measures. It has to solve the long-term need at the same time as it solves the short-term need, because it's just really a hiccup. And if you want to listen to someone who went through this, why don't you go and talk with a Thai, you know? Because they had this. Look here. That's their crisis, the Asian crisis. The hiccup, they went back. You lose 4 or 5 years of this. And that's bad, because it's five years of progress for people. They could avoid their roof from leakage. We just heard problems that occur. and family houses, you know. And so how could we improve? How could we improve this? Well, Google just launched, as a result of the acquisition of Trendlyser and their focus on public data, how can we make public data available in the search? It hasn't been so far, because data has been in the hidden web, in databases that is not accessible on the net, either for technological reason or for policy reason. There are countries like, organizations like OECD and World Bank that get tax-funded data, and then they get tax money, they put it together and they sell it. In contrast to the People's Republic of China that provide data free on charge. I'm longing for the day when OECD and World Bank has the same open access policy as China has. It's not a joke, it's reality. There's a lot of Gutenberg policies lying around. We heard at the length it takes for legislators. And they are most slow at the international organization levels, actually. Countries move faster. So you can now look at Google for unemployment rate. And let's say we're interested in California here. So we type in California, and then we search for California. You get the one box here. You click on the one box, and you have the data immediately by 2 clicks away. And it's data from US Bureau of Labor Statistics. Google does not own content, does not want to acquire content. Just honor the public statisticians that have put it together. But it's quite interesting. You can open California, you can go down and look at the counties, and of course we will today look at Santa Clara, where the main office is situated, the Silicon Valley, and you see the dot-com boom here in 2000, 2004 was higher there, and you can go and see other counties. One of my favorites is Alpine counties up in the Rocky Mountains, and you can see here the unemployed. Ooh! It's a skiing resort, you know. In May, they have 30% unemployment. Whereas in March, you know, only 6%, you know. I said, this is the way we want to have it. We want to have public data for which taxpayers pay $10 billion to put it together, to also be freely available for entrepreneurs, small-scale business, media, students, activists. And we are very grateful for Google making that attempt. And also it will stimulate others to compete, as we heard this morning. I think that's the best with this enormous success, that it stimulates competition also. And if the government put their data free in unified format, we will have business coming and competing with making the instrument available. And people like you and me can then use that data and those instruments and understand our world better. So this is what we try to do in Gapminder Foundation. We are still there after this search. We have a web page where you can explore the world, lean forward here. You can look at videos. We just had one swine flu alert up, warning for the exaggeration in the media. And we could calm down that report. Very interesting. A professor can sit in his own room, make a YouTube video that are on par with the other videos and that calm things down. So you can contribute with serious content on the internet. It's just that the serious people have not met up to the challenge yet. You can put it up. Many tell me, yes, you just get rubbish on the internet. What is it you find there? People just go and search. Look, this is live now. Sex is what they search for, isn't it? Or they can look for money. It's not serious content. But look, when you hit here, what's here on 4th place? Public health professor from Sweden. And this is Microsoft Better Sex, and this is New York Times, Britain saving money with sex, you know. This is very interesting what credit crunch can result in, you know. And you can, it's a joke, but it's also very serious. If the universities doesn't use the opportunity and put their best lectures free on YouTube, and have this as a competition, this is great. The American Ivy League University are just starting to do that. We can provide this. The search engine will pick us up. And of course, if I would add health at the end here, health, then there's no chance, you know. Then you have the public health professor on top directly. But I'm pretty proud that I'm number 4 on just sex and money. Now, if you need upgrading, we have provided a Las Vegas version of our bubbles with my Gapminder team in the corner over there where you see balloons on the wall. You can come and you can bet with chips on how countries progress, and you can also look at the way we would like to display data using Google technology. Thank you very much.